This meeting is being recorded.
All right, Kate Floss from the Protestant court. I'm going to call this the Protestant court, where all of the meetings and all of the videos to do with the court things that we're doing for the common law court, the proper written common law court, is going to come under the Protestant court heading, and we're going to go to a meeting at the Justice Committee tomorrow. What I want to show you is the court case that we've got. It is an extremely long process to actually go through the courts, but I'm going to just show you a nice little way that you can use. You can take about 5 minutes and you can go to the bills in Parliament and you can actually use your 1688 and you can use it to fight against the bills that they're passing at an exponential rate in Parliament. This is called, what I'm calling is a psychological waterboarding of law, where they are currently using the law as a weapon against you. And the way that they're doing is putting through hundreds and hundreds of bills at a very, very speedy rate. And you don't have time to think about what they're doing. It's a waterboarding of the public, and it's illegal to do it. Actually, they've caused you stress, they've caused you confusion, and you're not able to make reasonable decisions. So what I want to do is to give you the power back, but I want you to all know that one of the things I've said in the last meeting is that you fight a gun with a gun, and you fight a sword with a sword, and you fight law with law. And when you're using law against law, law sharpens law, and it's called the armor. It's called the arms of the law. Now, they've made you think that the arms of the law are to be used as a weapon against you. But I'm here to tell you that the arms of the law are to be used as a weapon of protection, as a shield. The arms of the law are to be used as a shield of protection against their arms of the law being used as a weapon. So whenever they strike you with their sword, you put up your shield and block them. And that's how you use the arms of the law. The way that you use your arms of the law is by the 1688 Bill of Rights. And what I'm going to show you, the first bit today, is the Cabinet Manual. Now, I've just done a video without my team to teach them about the Cabinet Manual. I just touched on it. I might do another one, but this Cabinet Manual is available in Scotland, Ireland, England, Australia, and New Zealand, in our common law countries. And it's in the Cabinet Manual that it shows you, I'm going to show you something interesting. It shows you the laws that they can use against you, and it shows us the laws that we can use to protect ourselves against them. And I'm here to tell you that our laws of protection are higher than their laws of war. They really are. So we'll go to the first share screen. We'll put up this to show you. If anybody this is going up on the YouTube, so anybody that wants to, is that my right one? Yes, it is. Anyone that wants to donate to Kate Floss, I'm not sure if you can see it, but here's Kate Floss, and it's under the ASB New Zealand, and it's under Caitlin CM Waterman 12316701011350. And if you want to donate to me, I'll go and buy myself a Pepsi and some perfume, or just go and do something nice for myself. If you've enjoyed my video today and you've enjoyed the work that I've put in today, then you can go and make a donation to Kate Floss if you want to. And I don't share it with the Oreo team because it's for me. But and they've all donated to me anyway. But they still come along because they're my greatest friends. And but today, and what I'm going to do when I post up this video, I am going to put all of the links there for you. I'll put the Cabinet Manual links for you. I'm going to put the Cabinet Manual links of England, Scotland, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. I'm going to put them all up there. So this is a Commonwealth they're bringing down the Commonwealth, they're bringing down the UK, and that's what we're fighting against. So we need to expand our thinking, all right? And we'll go to the Cabinet Manual. This will be the first place that I'll show you, which is here. Right, can you see the Cabinet Manual here?
Yeah.
Right, so here is the Cabinet Manual. Now, this is an extensive document, and then these are all the laws that they, not us, these are the laws. Whenever you get a job in a company, you can choose any legal company, any corporation. They will have a manual, just like when you go and get a job and you have a contract with your employer, right? And it tells you what the duties are of your job. So I was a teacher, and part of my job was that if I caused any embarrassment to the school when I was outside of the school, such as if I was wearing the uniform, because we had to wear a uniform, if I was wearing the uniform of the school and I went to a restaurant and I got drunk off my face and started running around the pub, slagging off the school, that would be considered as an embarrassment to the school, and I would lose my job. So they had powers over me. Even when I was outside of my job, I had duties that I had to uphold as part of my job. And this is the same. And so that was all in my contract. When I signed that contract, I said to them that I accept that this is your rule. Now, if I didn't want to accept their rule and I wanted to go out and get drunk, then I would have said to them, I'm not signing your contract, and I'm going to leave because I don't want to, I like to go out and get drunk every single night. And so therefore I'm not going to be able to uphold that contract, and therefore I would cause you trouble by losing my job and all of these things, right? So that's exactly the same in every single corporation or anywhere that you go. And it's the same in Parliament. When they take on their position, they swear an oath of Parliament, and they are all given this Cabinet Manual. And it's in this Cabinet Manual that tells them all the rules. Now, these people are on around about, some of them are on $400,000 to $500,000 a year, $10,000 a week. Some of them even more than that. So for $10,000 a week, when they enter Cabinet, they're expected to know what this Cabinet Manual says. We don't have to know all of it because we're not in Cabinet. But as the public of New Zealand, we need to know just a few things. And what we really need to know is they'd say, these are the people, the sovereign governor, the executive, these are all. I'm only going to do a quick, because I've done a video on this, so I'm only going to do a quick. So those are the people. And then what it says there, if you go down here, it will tell you somewhere, when I get there. Just a moment. So this will tell you what you see. You hear the Parliament constantly saying to you that we don't have a constitution. Who's heard them saying that? Has anyone heard them saying we don't have a constitution?
We do.
Well, we do. And we do have a constitution. And it says, what is the constitution? And then it does say that we have the Constitution Act, but the Constitution Act removed many of our rights from England, but it did leave us with the laws that they have to follow to be in Parliament. And it says under that Constitution, if they want to increase your taxes, or they want to get loans, or if they want to spend your public money, that's your money, yours. If they want to do any of that, but they'd say that you're not permitted to do it unless there has been an act of Parliament. Now, when they create the acts of Parliament to get all of these monies, all right, what they have to do is follow the major sources of the Constitution. Where does the Constitution derive its power from, or where do the acts derive their power from? And this is a little bit whopped up, but what you'll see here is it talks about that the powers are derived from the Queen, then they're derived from the Governor General, right? And then that is all done in the statutes and the limit and the supersede. Now, then you'll see here, these are the laws that they've got: the State Sector Act, 1988, the Electoral Act, 1993, the Senior Courts Act, 2016, District Court Act, 2016. They are relating to the three branches of the government. Then you've got the Ombudsman Act, 1975, the Official Information Act, 1982, the Public Finance Act, 1989. But what you've got is, and the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, 1990. All of these here derive their power from these here, not the other way around. They're trying to make you think that these ones here derive their power from the New Zealand statutes, but you know that that's not the case. All of our law, common law, comes under the United Kingdom statutes of the Magna Carta 1297, which was only put into New Zealand law in the year 2000. And I'd be opposed to that, but never mind that. The Bill of Rights, 1688, the Act of Settlement, 1700, which is only to do with the succession, and the Imperial Laws, New Zealand Imperial Laws Application Act. Now, the thing that you'll notice here is that only is talking about the application of the laws, and that is why it's an act, but it derives its power from the Bill of Rights, 1688, which is not an act. And so therefore, the 1688 is your supreme law. Treaty of Waitangi is in there, and law by convention, all right? So the law, when all the laws in their waterboarding of laws that they're currently using against you, they're using the relevant New Zealand statutes. All of these acts here is what they're using. And so the laws that you need to use as a shield against them, so they're using the sword of the law, and you need to come back with the shield of the law. So you take up your shield and you block them with your shield here, using the 1688. Now, I can turn that but off so everybody understands that. Is there anything that anybody wants to have a quick say about that?
Not happy.
Well, say something. You have to say something.
I did. I said it's happy.
For the show.
Supreme
For
law.
the show.
1688.
I had
Right.
something, but I forgot.
Right, you always forget. Well, what's the
No, it's
name?
great that it's in the cabinet manual, but how many of them would actually read it and understand it to the extent, you know, as we say, they're just passing laws that are repugnant.
There are 50%, I would say there are almost 50% of people in New Zealand Parliament who are not natural native English speakers. And I think that they would struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a great part of our problem, that many of the people, the foreigners in our Parliament, and we're the only country in the entire world that allows foreigners in our Parliament that are not native speakers to our country. We're the only country in the world that allows that, and some of them can barely speak English. And I think that this
Commonwealth countries.
yes,
It's
well,
across the board.
The English-speaking Commonwealth country. Yes, well, England has got the same problem.
So is Australia.
Australia, yes.
Mm.
And so I think that a huge prerequisite of going into Parliament is that you need to be a native English speaker in order to read the cabinet manual and follow the directions of that. And I think that that's been a great cause of our problem, because I would seriously doubt that any of them even know what the 1688 Bill of Rights is, or if they do, they know it on a very rudimentary way and it's never been applied. They are all going to the 1990 Bill of Rights Act.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think that this is quite the problem. So we're going to have to get into the Parliament and start explaining that to them. All right, so the next thing, so that's the Bill of Rights that I've showed
Hang on,
you.
hang on.
Yes, dear.
He's remembered.
All
I just remembered what I remembered. So the common law is actually derived from the Magna Carta.
No. The
Well,
common
like
law
you say, the
was,
Magna Carta of 1200 or whatever it was, and then this. I'm talking this. What? Like, so which is the bigger law, the Magna Carta or the 1688?
the 1688 trumps it.
How?
If you, yes, because, all right, so I'll just quickly go off this today. I wanted to do it in another video, but now's as good a time as any to discuss it. The Magna Carta was brought in under the barons and the Catholics and the
Yes.
Jews. And then everybody else was in God's law, all of us, and they were called the peon slaves, and none of us were allowed to own land. Now, that's a long story about that, why that happened. But when they did it, they put us all into slavery in perpetuity under them. And they said to God, they said to God, these are the laws that we give to you, God,
Oh, yeah.
that we have agreed that we and our heirs will follow. And then it lists all of the people who are going to be in power, which is popes, kings, queens, barons,
Mm.
and you're not in there.
Because a lot of them couldn't even speak English anyway, could they? They wouldn't have, they were illiterate and they couldn't read and write.
I'm not sure
No,
that
the
the Magna
peons.
Carta was even written in English.
Ah. Was it in Latin or something?
All the first kings were French. None of them were English. It was only the later kings. It was very later that they became English kings. Previous to that, they were all French. And so all the laws came over from France. That was the invasion of England. Now, what happened, exactly what happened today, I don't want to talk, we'll just talk for a couple of minutes, but we'll come back and do this. What happened today is that was the first in time best, it's called first in time best in right. So they had the higher right over all of us. And whenever there was a question of who, if two people were fighting, the lowly Protestants against the highly nobles, the nobles won every time because of the Magna Carta said that they were supreme and we were below. And so that's that one. But it did have some good laws in it because it did have the forfeiture of person, the forfeiture of lands without conviction. That was made illegal in there. However, only the nobles were permitted to own land. So the slaves weren't permitted to own land anyway. So you didn't get any benefit from that. It wasn't until the 1688 that the slaves were the birth certificate and we were all put into the corporation that we were permitted to own land as individuals. Before that, we were not permitted. So that's the Magna Carta. The 1688 came in, and once a law has been established, you can't remove it. It's there forever. And so the 1688 came in and said, these are the laws of the people. And they said, we're bringing in our own queen, our own king, and we're going to get them to sign this document to say that they only have power as long as they uphold these rights for us. And it listed all the things that they had to do in order to govern over us. And the agreement was that if they didn't uphold that, then they were not permitted to govern over us, and we were able to storm the parliament and take over the parliament and take over everything ourselves. So
it was
that's
our
one.
armor, wasn't it? It was our armor.
That
against
was
the
our
Magna Carta.
armor against their
Yeah.
sword.
because that's the common law wanting to take us back to the Magna Carta, which is a dangerous territory, because back
Yeah.
then we're going to be under lords and barons again, and under the religions, you know, which we don't want. We want to stay in the 1688.
All of the religions were only legal entities. They weren't actually religions. They just discovered that to get people in, that to speak of God was an easy way. But in fact, the first laws that you know were the canon laws, the Jewish laws, and they were actual from those books. The actual law was written, but it had many punishments, and the only way to get in those religions was to be born to it. So
Is that
all
the
people-
Noahide laws?
no,
Noah-
they've made Noahide laws have been made up. We have to do a whole nother video on this.
Do
I
we?
can't do it today. Don't do it. But anyway, so the 1688 trumps
Yes.
well, they're two different laws, because one of them is talking about the nobles and what their rights are, and one of them is talking about the peoples and what our rights are. So they're both legal documents, but they both have different connotations. So
Yes.
their position is rested on our right. Our position is not rested on their right, because they didn't include us in the law. You see, that's the difference. We included them in our law because we put them under us. But they didn't include us in their law because they saw us as being non-entities. So
Yeah.
since we were not included in their law, that made us free to be able to go and make a law of our own. So that's what we did.
Ah,
Yeah.
So
I
it
get
was
it.
good, wasn't it? I mean, that they saw themselves as more superior, you know, and the rulers of all, but it came to bite them in the bum.
If they had included us in their
Yeah.
law,
Would have been
they
hard.
would have the 1688 today.
That's right.
So was that your noise, Brent? So we managed to, so we did manage to get out of it by writing a law, and we brought in our own king and our own queen, our very own. And so we didn't no longer accept the kings appointed by the Pope or by the Jews or by the English. We brought in our own. We said, this is ours. And then we also said, if that one turns rogue on us, we're going to get the Queen of Denmark. And if that one turns rogue on us, we're going to get this other one. So it's given us the list of who we go to. We don't go to the Pope.
No.
So these laws are both extremely important, but one's for them and one's for us. One is their sword and one is our shield. So anyway, we went into the court, and that's a very long process, and we're waiting. So in the meantime, we found a very, very lovely way that we can make a difference. Okay, so we can go. I'll try and put these up here for the people so they can go and have a look. So all you've got to do, right, there's a couple of people on the tubing now. So I'm going to show you what you can do now with your shield. So what are you going to be able to do if you're going to want to use your shield right now? What are you going to be able to do? And so I'll just get this aligned.
The water services entities bill, need to look at that.
So wait, don't get ahead. So all you've got to do is go to this proposed bills in Parliament. Now I'll copy it and I've put it onto the YouTube, and you can open it yourself. So if you're on the YouTube watching, you can go and open it yourself, but I'm going to post up this Zoom. So I normally post up the two. So all you do is you go to the, you Google bills in New Zealand Parliament, and you'll see the proposed laws, and then you go to there. And then all you do is you scroll down and you see the bills that you think might be interested in you. And what you can do is you can click on any one of these bills, and you can, it takes 5 minutes. You write to them how you're opposing it, and you put in that you want to go to the Justice Committee to have your comments, and you will get to give your comments, all right? So what we've gone to, what's the one we've gone to, Diane? It's called
that one.
the,
That one.
is it the electoral Maori or the other one?
Well, there's two.
Yeah, which one did we want? Your one.
You want the one, the non,
Oh,
that
the
one.
switching
Maori.
roles. Okay. So we went to the electoral right to switch roles freely.
Yeah.
And I just happened to click on this one. So I just happened to click on it. And when I clicked on it, I was very surprised because look, it says this bill would amend. Now, this is a very, very dangerous bill. This bill would amend the Electoral Act 1993, which is in the Cabinet Manual, to enable Maori voters to switch between the Maori and non-Maori electoral rolls at any time. And what has happened is that they've removed the word general populace, and changed it to be calling us non-Maori. And once they do this, it's very dangerous. I'll explain my reasons that I'm going to be talking about in Parliament, but it's very dangerous. So this, in charge of this is Rawiri Waititi. And I'm going to be talking in a few minutes about the Maori and non-Maori electoral rolls and why it's dangerous for us to be called non-Maori. They're basically saying that we don't exist in this country. I don't want to be called a non-anything. You call them non-Anglo, or you call them non-New Zealanders, since they want to be in Aotearoa. Why don't you call them non-New Zealanders? So all non-New Zealanders can go into the Maori voters, since you don't want to be called New Zealanders, and all of the general electorate, which is us in New Zealand, where we are in New Zealand, will remain to be called the general electorate. So general, if you go and look at the word general, is a very high up word, because general means the boss, the people that are in charge. You can even Google, let's have a Google to see what is the meaning of general, okay? So if we look at the meaning of general, it can mean considering or including the main features or the elements of something and disregarding exceptions overall. It's anything that is affecting and concerning all or most of the people and their places and their things. So general can also mean a commander of an army, or a commanding officer of very high rank. So this is what the word, so when you're called general, they're saying that it is when you are the main feature and you are the main body that are considering what they have put towards you for your election, all right? And it's at this time that you will disregard all of the exceptions. And it is the general introduction to the subject, which is us. This is a very important word. Words matter greatly. And so they want to just call us non-Maori. And when they call us non-Maori, they've taken away all of our power, all of it. And so I'm going to be you've got to watch them. Now, just before I go to the committee, so I'll just show you here. So all you do is, it says this will be, you go here, it says get involved, right? So it's on the first reading. And when it's on the first reading, you can just go up here to get involved, click on there, and it says have your say. You can contact the MP. You can, last time I contacted Chris Farfoy and I got a letter back because for the declarations of inconsistency, the bill had already passed. So if it's already passed, you can go to contact the MP and you'll get a letter back from Parliament explaining to you all about it. So I've already had one of those from Chris Barfoy. And you can go here to have your say or make a submission. So you go to make a submission and then make a submission, and then it goes down here, all the laws that you want to, I'd be going and looking at this 8-year
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Okay.
That'll be an interesting one.
There's many, because as I said, they're using the law against you, and you've got have your say. This is where you can contact, but this is where you can get a they've done there are thousands of referendums in, there are thousands of petitions in, there are thousands of complaints in. So I don't go here, but I just went to make a submission, and I can't find it here, the one that I want. But I think you can just put in your word and get the one that there's 8 pages here. All right. So that's how you make a submission, and you just write in there what you want and you click it. All right. Now, just before I leave here and I go to the Justice Committee, I also will show you, where's the one that I had done, the electoral Maori, it's called the Electoral Maori Electoral Option Legislation. Now, what I want to show you here is look how many electoral laws they've got going at the moment. They've got the Regional Council Bill, they've got the Local Government Electoral Legislation Bill, they've got the 3 Strikes Legislation Bill, they've got the Electoral Amendment Bill, they've got the Secondary Legislation Bill, they've got the and then this, so altogether they've got about 5 electoral bills in there that they want you. So this is why I'm saying that they're psychologically waterboarding you with law. They're psychologically waterboarding you with law because they put 5 or 6 different ones up there of the same thing, and you can't read it. But I'm being governed by divine intervention, because for some reason I went straight to that one and I found the non-Maori bit, but had I have gone to any of the ones above that, I wouldn't have found it. So just lucky for me, because I knew I was looking for that, because I knew specifically that Rawiri Waititi wanted to name us non-Maori people. All right, hang on, I'll answer you in a minute, Betty. And so then they've got this one here. I want to tell you about this thing called an omnibus bill. And so this is called, if you go here to the Maori electoral bill and you go to read the bill here, and if you go to read the bill right at the top here, it will say, this is an omnibus bill introduced under the standing order. Now, these omnibus bills, this was only brought in the year 2016, and they've made many of these omnibus bills. And so my declaration that I'm asking for at the court is going to be now called an omnibus declaration, because you've got to use your shield against their sword. And if their sword is using an omnibus bill, then our shield can ask for an omnibus declaration. All right? So it's going to be shield against sword all the time for us. And so when you look at an omnibus bill, what you're going to see is amendments to the Electoral Act, and you'll see amendments, more amendments. Then you're going to see amendments to the Local Electoral Act, and then you're going to see amendments to the Maori electoral option. And these omnibus bills, you can spend an entire day having to go over these with a fine-tooth comb. You see all this here? When you get an omnibus here, amendments to the local electoral, you've got to read every one of these acts. You've got to read them with a fine-tooth comb. Then you've got to go and read this, and then you've got to match all of the sections that they're changing. It's horrendous. It takes you a week to get through one of these omnibus bills. And I don't think that the omnibus bill, when they originally created it, was supposed to be only that that they will use it for minor changes, minor amendments. It wasn't for them to group whole acts into one thing and completely change our entire New Zealand system of governance without telling us. It didn't give them permission to do that. And that's why I'm saying they're waterboarding us with law. And that's going to be our way out of that. Now, another omnibus law that we've got, here's a sneaky little omnibus law that they did in, I'll see if I can get it. Here, here's a little, now this has not passed its third reading, but this was an omnibus bill that they put through. I'm just going to tell you this now. They put this through in 2016. I'm not sure if I can get it up. I'll try and put it up. Oh no, I've lost it now. I'll have to put it up later. But it's called, it is called third readings of the judicature. It's called the judicature modernisation. I'll try and put it up for you. Judicature modernisation.
So it's third reading. Just click on up there, Kate. On the second tab up there, you'll just go back to it.
Oh no, but I'm trying to click it so I can put it up for the YouTubies.
Oh, well, I thought if you clicked it there, you'd go back onto it because you've got a tab up there.
That's come under my saving thing that I saved it, and when I send it to them, it doesn't open.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'll put this up for you. And so this is actually another omnibus bill. And if you look at this omnibus bill, now omnibus bill was created in 2016 and it hasn't passed its third reading. Do you know what they're doing, the sneaky buggers? They're changing all the laws and they've got this sit here ready to go.
Ready.
Yeah, it's ready. So they've got to go through and change every single act, every single law, every single thing that New Zealand has been protected by. They've got to change every single thing and pass every single thing into law. And then when they've done that, they're going to pass this one here. And so it's sitting there ready. And they've been doing this for decades. And this is the omnibus bill here. It's got the arbitration amendment bill, the senior courts bill, the district court bill, the judicial review bill, the money claims bill, the tribunals bill, bills of exchange bill, the building societies bill, the families bill, companies bill, contractual bill, copyright bill, courts bill, criminal procedure bill, employment bill, family courts bill, insolvency bill, local government bill, property law bill, remuneration authority bill, resource management bill, Te Tua Whenua bill, trans-Tasman proceedings bill, and these are all bills. These are all bills that are relating to all the documents that were created between 1838 and 1908. This involves all of them. It's no good me trying to tell you, but I just trust me when I tell you. So all of this is to do with repealing and destroying all of those protection shields that we've got. And
Oh.
so this is all what's waiting for you if you don't all get on board. So that's why we're going to have to work very hard, team. So this is called an omnibus bill. And so these are all omnibus bills, okay? So does anybody just want to have a wee minute to talk about that for a wee minute? We're almost finished because I'm going to go to the to show the Justice Committee what they've sent me, and then I will explain to you how we're going to go to the Justice Committee tomorrow, and then we'll have a tiny little bit of discussions, and then we will be having to meet up for the Justice Committee tomorrow. So does anybody have something to say about that a wee bit, the omnibus bills?
So basically with the omnibus declaration, it just null and voids that for us, does it? That won't be applicable. It means that we can still keep our constitutional documents intact and preserved and strengthened. We need to strengthen them, don't we? Like,
yes, the way to do it is to go to these bills that they've got here, and the only thing you need to do is put up your shield. The minute you put up your shield, it immediately sends it to a different level because it goes to the Attorney General and it has to go to many higher places. The minute that you put your shield up there, and that's why they keep getting you to work in the acts, because it's not going to work. Once you put your shield up against their sword, they have to, it slows the whole thing down. It completely slows it down.
so none of this, none of these, like when it gets to the third reading and then it never goes to the Attorney General. I'm just trying to understand the process. It gets royal assent once it goes into legislation from the Governor General, but the Attorney General never sees it until we put up our shield. Is that what you're saying?
No, I wouldn't say that, but they've got a law. See, that is the key to our 1688 Bill of Rights. That is the key, is that if you don't call it, if you don't say anything, then they can do what they like, because by not saying anything, you
can see. You can see
that's
exactly what they did with everything, with this medical process. If you don't say, you know, to the school or say, no, I don't want that, or you're basically consenting, aren't you?
And it's very different because it's very different because all the things that they're doing by I do not consent, they're not doing it, they're not doing I do not consent in their statute, they're doing it in the subordinate law. And when you put subordinate law against subordinate law, it doesn't have any power because their subordinate law has got hundreds of thousands of churchgoers, and your subordinate law is only you as one.
So what you're saying is we go in on these bills and we say, I find this bill to be repugnant under the 1688 Bill of Rights.
Correct.
Yes, and then you have to show how.
How it's repugnant.
Yeah, so you have to study, you have to have a copy of your 1688, and you go, and I'm telling you, that document is so great. Whenever they've done anything that affects our almighty godly right, in our God-like status, that we are God, a God, I am a God. When we're in that state, if they do anything that's against it, you're going to find it in that 1688. They wrote it so carefully. They have these for when, yes, Betty's saying they've got all this ready for when the Queen passes. This is what's sitting here. So if we don't get in now, and then it's announced, once she's announced passed away, all of these things are going to go boom. And they did, if you do go to the YouTube, and it does talk about the Majesty passing away, and she's usually chooses when she will pass.
Why would it go boom at that point, Kate, when it carries on? The shelf is still there.
Because you've got a new king, And there's been a change. There's been quite the change because this is a long video, but you have to think when Queen Victoria came to power. When Queen Victoria came to power, previous to that, all the kings have been French kings, and all laws were written under the king's laws, under the king. But the 1688 was a new law and brought in by the Butterworths, and the Butterworths had split from the King's Bench law and opened up their own law office in 1820 called the Queen's Bench Law. And when Queen Victoria came to power in 1837, this is exactly the same thing. All that law that he had written for 17 years all came to power in 1837, which was entered into New Zealand because the United Kingdom had expanded. England had expanded to include Ireland, Scotland, Australia, and New Zealand. And we all came under a different, so they rewrote everything under Queen Victoria, right? And then the Queen went and joined Europe, and they joined the European Union, a whole bunch of stuff, and then they left Brexit, and then LexisNexis has bought out the Queen's Law Company, and LexisNexis is an American law company. So I don't have all the answers, but I'm just saying that these are the things that are all going on around us that you need to be aware of. And then, as Betty says, they've got them all stacked up,
Yes.
ready. And so what we've got to start using is our
Yeah, but once the Queen passes, doesn't it like slip straight into, it'll be Charles will become
Charles is writing
the
it.
kind of like the vessel, the
The
shelf.
shelf.
Yeah, and if Charles can't handle being the shelf, then it goes automatically to the Danish Queen
Yes,
or king.
it does.
So no matter what, we are covered.
Exactly.
That's right. So they can't change these laws though that affect us.
No.
Even when the Queen dies and they've got all this all to go forward.
But we have to start calling. We have to start,
Yeah.
and that's what we're starting so that we're ready.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to make people aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when everybody knows it, and then when the time comes, we're going to be ready.
And say no to their laws.
Yes, because we've already got it put in the court now, and we're waiting for a declaration, right?
Yep.
And now what we can do is we can put a stopper on all these laws that they're rushing through. We can at least slow them down
Yeah.
because we've got a case in the court.
Mm.
So everybody's going to be watching our case in the court. And so we can start doing this now because everybody knows. You can be sure that Jacinda Ardern knows as the respondent that we have this case in court. So everybody's going to be looking out, and if they see it, so we've got to start calling it as often as we can.
Yep.
Now what's Betty saying? Yes, Betty's saying this is what I'm saying also. So Betty's saying that they announce when the plan is in place, and this is exactly right. You can see they certainly did not write all of those laws in the last 2 years.
No.
These laws have been ready to go for decades. They've had them all stacked up, all piled up, ready to go, and now they just flip it. They've got a stack as high as the ceiling of the new laws, and they just flip it out every day, and that is a waterboarding of laws, and that's illegal, and you are confused and distraught and not able to defend yourselves. So that was all planned. So they've got the stack of them. They announce it, And 2 weeks later, the frickin' bill is in. Don't you see that? And so it's terrible. So anyway, let's get to the meat of the program today. I'm not able to share this for Betty, but Betty's watching. She's watching, but we'll be able to later on. Betty, I'll put up the Zoom show. I'm still trying to figure out how to connect the Zoom to the YouTube. If I knew that, you'd all be able to watch my Zoom on YouTube live, but I don't know how to do that. But if you go back and scuttle through it, Betty, you'll be able to see the documents. So this is just such an easy thing to do. So they wanted to call us Non Maori, all right? So that you can see here, hang on. And they're very nice down there. So I'll show you all the letters that they have sent to me. So I'm a bit pushed to time, as you know. I'm a very busy person because let's remember that I've got Protestant court, and then I've got the Ministry of Deconfusion, of which I am the Minister of Deconfusion, and I'm in the Protestant court, which I am the Protestant person in the Protestant court. And then we've also got Kate Floss Entertainment Channel, which I have to provide entertainment for all the viewers. So,
hold up.
Yes.
I know how you do it.
Hey?
Right? I know how you sign it. You can go live. Use the Zoom meeting, go live.
Not now, though.
Okay. But yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right, the next one's going to be better YouTubey mates, because Brent has told me that he's found out how I can put the YouTubies up live, but I can't do it just today, but we're going to fix that for you.
Yeah,
so we're getting better at everything, right? So you people can see it, right? So I'll go to the first letter that they sent me. The first letter that they sent me from the Justice Committee, that they sent me the letter. They said, hello, you have requested an oral hearing to the Justice Committee about the Maori electoral option legislation bill. The Justice Committee will be hearing 5-minute submissions from individuals on Thursday, the 4th of August, and has available slots between 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Now, remember what I'm complaining about. I'm saying to them that they are not permitted to call me a non-Maori, because I think that that's a forfeiture of person. So I went to my 1688 Bill of Rights, and I said that that was a forfeiture of my particular person, because we're supposed to come under the general electorate. And as I explained to you, the meaning of general electorate is the people that will decide on the various issues that they want to have or don't want to have. So general electorate has got meaning. And I'll be saying that to the Electoral Commission. And so I've said that that's a forfeiture of my particular person with no conviction, and it's illegal and void for them to do it. Immediately when I said that to them, immediately when I used the 1688 Bill of Rights, if they go ahead and make that law, I'm permitted to take that to the court, and they are liable to go to the court with me, and they know it. So they're going to have to be very, very careful. Yes, because the minute you say 1688, it comes under the, all right, Betty says next time she's going to join next time. Yeah, we're going to fix it, Betty, but I can't fix it now, but we'll get this finished because it'll be too long, but we'll fix it for you, Betty. Right, so the minute that you use the 1688, that immediately makes them accountable. That person that put that bill forward is immediately accountable, because you've got a record that you made a submission about that. And you've also got your record of your 5-minute meeting with them. And so even if they pass this bill against your wishes, you then have the right to go to the court and ask the court for a declaration to sort the matter out. So that's why the minute that you put this in, they're going to stop and think. Yes. So don't ever go in there with your mamby-pamby twallop saying, oh, I was abused when I was a child and I lost everything and my father left me and my mother left me and I didn't know what to do and there I was in the streets all by myself to survive. No, that kind of bullshit ain't going to get you anywhere. You've got to go in there and fight. You've got to go in with your shield against their sword. And they don't want to hear your personal stories. They want to hear. They don't want to hear about your personal stories. You can go on Facebook and tell everybody your personal stories. Or you can go and have a cup of tea with your mates, can you?
Yeah, this is for the big boys, isn't it? And the big girls. It's not for the little,
It's not for you people. If you all you mamby-pamby people that can't take care of yourselves and you want the state to take care of yourselves, well, this is not the place for you. You go to the tribunal and sit there for 2 years in one of those tribunals, the cat chasing the tail. You go and sit there and do all your blubbering in there, because this is the place for people that want to be in charge. We want to
take responsibility.
Take responsibility, yeah.
And protect the laws that we have in place under the 1688 for the future generations, for our children and their children to come. That's what we want. We want to make sure that these things are in place and secure. It's not about our personal stories.
No.
Everyone's got their crosses to bear. Everyone's got their crosses to bear. This is the big guns that we're fighting.
There is not a single one of us that has not been through trials during our life. It's part of life.
Yes.
It's part of life. And I don't think anybody, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, everybody got bad things happen to them. And that's part of life. You didn't get all to be happy all your life. You get to be happy sometimes and sad sometimes. But we want to be with people that are taking the power back, want to stand in their power and want to get some results. And it's for all of the future children of New Zealand. And we want to be accountable ourselves to say, you know what? We have not been accountable because we haven't been looking at the laws for a long time and we haven't taken care of our corporation. But now we're going to step up to the plate and do that. And we're going to expect Parliament to be accountable from this day forward.
Absolutely.
We know they haven't been accountable for many, many decades, but we're going to say from this day forward, we expect Parliament to be accountable from this day forward. And we're going to be included. So I said the forfeiture of person. And so then they've said that I will be able to go to the meeting, and they've given me the time frame between 11 and 11:30, and I get to choose. So I sent them a message and I said, I would like to do oral submissions, please. And I would like to make my submission via the Zoom video. And would it be possible to have my team of 5 to join as observers, but not speakers? I didn't let you be speakers because we only get 5 minutes. So,
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
as you know, I'm a great talker. So.
You are. You'll be fine.
But they might let me have my full 5 minutes, and then they might ask you if you want to say something. But if they do, you might be able to say something. But please stay on topic. We don't want any mamby-pamby stories about your troubled childhoods. So, right.
We ain't like we're going to do that.
Eh?
We're way beyond that.
I'll get plenty of them on here, I'll tell you. But not that I'm against them. I love you all, but that's we're walking in the power here.
Yeah, we're not wounded. We're not the walking wounded.
Why did he call me Caitlin?
Did he call you Caitlin? Oh,
yeah, they always do that to me. Why do they call me Caitlin? See, they always change my name. It's got there Catherine, isn't it? And yeah, it's got there Catherine. Because it says Caitlin there. Oh, why does it say Caitlin there?
Because that's your email. That's what's coming
Yeah,
up.
that's your email.
My email is Kate Can Do.
You've got your name. It might be Kate. They have to click on that and it might say Kate Can Do, but it'll be Caitlin under Caitlin Waterman. That's why. It'll be somewhere in the settings.
That's confusing the hell out of them, isn't it?
All right. Yeah, I'll have to change that. That's very bad. Catherine. All right. So then they says, would you be available? So then I said, I would like to have our meeting at 11:15. And they said, would you be available at 11:10 for your submission? And if that's no problem, you can come to join the team. Then they said, it's no problem to have your team join. Would you like them visible to the committee, or we can keep them as attendees? See, this is all about getting involved, people. And this would mean they could observe the meeting, but not interact with the members. So I sent them back and I said, Dear Justice Committee, yes, the team said 11:10 will be fine, and the team would like to be visible and included, please.
We better make sure we brush our hair.
Yeah, put your hair on and put your makeup on.
Yeah.
And make yourself look beautiful like me, although you have a hard job getting more beautiful than me. But you can all try.
Yeah.
You can all try.
We got to be all, shiny and polished.
We want you to be all shiny and polished. And I don't wear my hats. I don't wear my hats, and I'm very respectful, and I don't swear or nothing. So so this is what we're all going to be going to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the main point of interest, so I had an important thing that I wanted to say. So I'll turn off. Right, so I've turned off that. So we're just having a little bit of discussions now, and then we're going to end the video. All right, so what's going to happen now, you on the YouTube, you can set up these little groups, or you can contact Kate Floss. If you see something on the parliamentary website that you think that you can use your 1688, if you're there on the YouTube, you can contact Kate Floss and the Oreo team, and we will set up a meeting with you, and we will help you to get it written and help you to go there and help you to practice for speaking in your submissions. And then you can go and do it. You can have your own team. You don't need to use our team. All right. So a lot of people are asking to get in the Oreo team, but you can't be in the Oreo team. Got the Oreo team. So you can't come in as guest speakers. You can come in as guesties in our Oreo team. But I'm sorry, the Oreo team's been done a long time ago. The ship sailed. And so all the people that want to come in, you can't. And you might think I'm a selfish twat, but I'm not a selfish twat. So I feel the Queen pass thing. All right, that's Betty talking about the Queen passing already. It hasn't been announced, Betty.
2013.
Oh, she's going to live till 100.
Yeah, but she did pass in 2013.
They kept the Thai King on life support. He was actually completely passed in every sense of the word, and they kept him on life support for 10 or about 10 years, I think it was, so that they can organise the time frame for him to pass at the right time. And what they did is exactly what's going on in New Zealand. They organised protests all across the country. They threw the entire parliament out. The army took over, and there they sit today. And they did all of this, and when all of that had been done, that's when the king was allowed to pass. So, and it's carbon copy to what they're doing in New Zealand, exactly the same. There's nothing different. The only thing different is that this army guy was quite good, and he threw out the United Nations, and he tore up the Constitution, which was full of the United Nations, and he threw out all the NGOs, Oxfam,
Right.
Mormon churches.
Black
He threw the
Rock,
whole lot,
Vanguard.
everything. They said, we don't want you here. We're going to do it on our own. And because they all know what's going to happen when the Queen passes. The only one that doesn't know is you in New Zealand, but it's all right because you've got me over here to tell you what's going on. So,
Speaking to Simon's father today, his dad, he said that the Queen is residing in Scotland, and not at the castle, not at Balmoral, because that's where she used to go with her husband, but she's in a smaller place, a 7-bedroom place or something, and Andrew and Fergie are frequent visitors because she's quite close to Andrew. He's her favourite, and she's back in relationship with Fergie again because the Duke did not like Fergie. He didn't approve. He thought that she brought discord to the royal family, but that the Queen quite likes Fergie, and so there's been that association again at this new place where she is. So I thought, well, that was quite nice. They're quite involved in her life.
She's lovely, Fergie. She's very, very, very lovely, and Andrew's very lovely. And if you want to know who to follow and who to side with, just look at who the media's bashing around, and that's normally the ones that you want to be with. Well, not always. There's a lot going on, but I just know
William's getting smoked at the moment.
I know it's a
Oh,
whole
hard.
thing. You know what?
He's they're calling him the king of pegging.
What does that mean, Brent?
Pegging is a woman with a device on.
Oh.
Yeah, imagine the reversal during sex.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
And they're slamming William at the moment. It's all over TikTok.
Like a dildo.
I thought Prince Charles had put something up about Harry and Meghan, the book of Windsor's, you know. So there's a new book out, and but Charles had put that up. And
Well, let's be careful what we're talking about. We don't want to get any defamations up here, so we better not. Stay focused. But Betty is saying that they want to throw all of Parliament out and put in a People's Party. Now, I've heard this before, but I'm asking the question. I don't even, whoever you are, I'm not for or against any singular people, any singular party. I don't care who they are, because the entire lot of them are rotten, and I don't care who they are. What we need to do is start getting them put back in check, whoever's in Parliament. It doesn't matter who's in Parliament. If they're forced to follow these laws correctly, then we won't have these problems. And if we don't fix this now, whoever's in Parliament is going to be gifted all these laws. And I'm not trusting any one of them. And I'm not trusting, and quite frankly, having Jacinda remain where she is, she might even herself be trying to get herself kicked out. Because once they do that, you end up with, if they throw them all out and there's a people revolution, they throw them all out, do you know what? You end up with we've got power. As long as there's an elected parliament in there, we have power. When there's a non-elected government in there, we can't use any of our laws, because you go under emergency law where they're going to shove all this stuff through and you won't have any power, which they may still do in the next week or two because of what I'm doing. Yes. So, yes. So this is where they're heading. So we've got to get onto this, into those bills as quickly as we can, and get our voice heard as quickly as we can. We've already got our case in the court, which they may be stalling. They may well be stalling. And so it's better for us to have that party sitting right where they're sitting.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Than to have them thrown out and have someone put in there that we know not who they are. Who are these People's Party? Who is it?
Yeah.
We don't know. It's going to be a bunch of Americans, Islanders,
Yeah, it's best people
Irishmen.
you know, isn't it? As they
It's
say.
going to be a bunch of people that are not probably New Zealanders, I'll tell you that much. The United Nations. So I think that it would play right into their hands to have Parliament removed at the moment. It's not going to play into my hands. I want them there to say to them, you need to be accountable. Yeah, we want you to be accountable and to your office. And if you are removed, it will be by a proper election that through the courts, it'll be through the courts and the Governor General that you're not upholding the oath. And since you're not upholding your oath, then there has to be a snap election. And then by that, there would be proper elections. But if that were to happen, whoever did get elected would know they better damn well follow these orders of the Oreo team, because if they don't, they'll be thrown out on their ear just as the same. So we're more focused on getting them to be accountable to our supreme law and our indubitable right, which has got many laws in there. So they want to remove the word general electorate. And as I told you, and so I must make a note of that. So the first note, I'm just quickly go through the points that I'm going to use. And I haven't written it, but I can write it in about 15 minutes because I'm quite good at writing. So, well, I said, and Judge Palmer said that I thought that I was quite good at writing. So I think I am. So number one, I'm going to actually explain the meaning of the word general electorate, because I think that's important. So the general electorate, and the meaning of the word general is key, because the meaning of the word Maori means that we basically don't exist. We're not New Zealanders. We're nothing.
Yeah.
Non Maori, what are we?
Because we were not marrying. We don't
been
exist.
reduced to a not race. We're not anything. We're not Indian. We're not Chinese. We're not Anglo. We're not New Zealanders. We're not anything. We're a non. You're going to be called non. They'll just call us nons. They'll drop the Maori and they'll just call us nons. That'll be the name for us.
The nons will be kicked aside.
Yeah, they won't be calling us Pākehās anymore. They'll be calling us nons. Oh, you're a non, you can't come here. You're a non. But the second,
we've gone from a peon to a non.
Yeah, gone from a peon to a non. Wonder what the N means with the on and the non. Jodie, you're so in sync with me. Right. Now, here's the other effect that it's, because we have to be fair, the effect that it's going to have on the New Zealand Maori. Currently, the New Zealand Maori can enter the general electorate, or they can enter the Maori electorate. If they change that word to be non-Maori in the 1993 electoral law, if they do that, it means that all New Zealand Maori are going to be forced to either go on the Maori electorate, even if they don't want to, or they're going to have to renounce their Maori status and become a non-Maori. Yes, so that's going to get them there, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Maori, and so that's also a forfeiture of person without conviction, because they're trying to forfeit their identity of who they are, and the only way to save their identity is to enter into an electorate, forced into an electorate that they never wanted to be a part of. And when they go in the Maori electorate, I think that they're only allowed to vote for certain people, I think. Maori parties, which we all know is going to become Maori and Pacifica parties, Maori and Pacifica and ethnic people. That's what they're going to be. That's what it's going to evolve to. Maori, Pacifica and ethnic. And then the nons will be the nons, the non all of those. So that's a forfeiture of person to the Maori, having that choice taken away from them. And I think that is quite sneaky.
Yeah, and I've got all these, like, you know, like with the healthcare system and all that stuff that's geared up towards them, they're offering, you know, there's incentives there for them to join into this non-Maori, because they could say, well, you're non-Maori now, so you've forfeited your right.
Oh my God.
And you see what
And
I mean?
then they forfeit, yes,
Yeah.
because they'll go on to an electoral roll,
Yes.
and all of those organizations will be based on the electoral roll.
Yeah. Yes, you see where it's going.
Yeah, you know what you see.
On the money, Diane, on the money.
And they cannot join all the health stuff and
Yeah.
the health, what are they called? Health.
Well, it's the reforms of the healthcare system that they're reforming, aren't they? That, you know,
Yeah.
for
Yes, for the
Maori,
Maori.
they are getting a lot of benefits because of,
Buying, isn't it?
huh?
It's
It's
vote buying.
Yeah, but it's so wrong, because they, you know, say like someone like Sharon won't want to go in there, but they'll be forced because they'll say, well, look, there's these benefits that it's offering me, you know, the lollies.
So, I had something really important. Forfeiture person. Oh, damn it. Can you keep talking about what you just said, what you were saying, because it gave me an idea.
Well, just with, I think, with everything, with the Maori health system, and it's going to
Oh,
be
the division. Yeah, well, you see, under 1688, you see, that thing that you talked to me about the health providers and the housing, all of the housing and all of that, you see, and then by forbidding, so once if they chose to be a non-Maori, they
Yes.
wouldn't be entitled to any of that. They would not. And so they're forced to vote, yes. So Betty's saying, I agree. And then so that comes under the 1688, because then that comes under the ruling by division, which that is illegal. And that means a division to them. Who's calling?
Who's
Is
that?
it mine?
It's not mine.
Is it Kate?
No, it's for me, but
Yeah, even the education system, it's
so,
will bring everything into it, won't they?
Yep.
yes, so that's very good information. So we've got that one, and then the last one, number 4, is so we're using the general electorate, and so we don't want to be called non because of the meaning of general being changed to non. So that is important. So that also comes under forfeiture of person, which is illegal. Okay. And then number 4, we want to finish with a final important impact statement about being called a non anything. So what can we say there? So far,
Entity, isn't it?
okay. Yeah, so we don't want to be called a non, as if we are non-existent, that we don't exist.
Non-entity.
A non-entity, because here we are, because we're not Maori,
No.
and so therefore
We don't
are
identify with anything.
nothing.
Yeah.
We're a non-entity, and I'm saying in the electoral law, that's very, very, very abusive. So
Look, a non-entity, looking it up now, Kate, a person regarded as being of no importance or significance.
There you go.
Say again, stop. That is a person
Regarded as being of no importance.
of, oh my gosh, that's what they want to call us.
Yeah.
of no importance.
Or significance.
Oh my gosh, that is sick. That is sick, Rawiri Waititi. Similar to a monster, Philip says. Of no importance or significance.
Mm.
And then can we look at general, that word general, and
Yeah.
what was the definition of that again?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is such a good submission. It's just lovely. I'll write it. So what did we have for the general meaning? Under
I have got, I don't know, we can just go through it. Concerned with application to or affecting the whole.
it's got here, affecting, and concerning all or most
Entire
people.
body.
All or most, and it uses the word people.
People. Yep.
Most people, yes,
Or things.
and places and things. In addition, it also means that's definition 1. Definition 2 is for people to considering and including main features, right, or elements of something. And this is what general mean. We're talking about the meaning of general. And it disregards, well, this is why they use this word, and it disregards all of the exceptions. So this is suitable because we are disregarding the people that we don't want as the exceptions overall. And we are deciding on what we want to have. And then the third meaning is that we are a commander.
Of an army.
Of an army, yes, and we are. And that is exactly right, because we command the army, because it's our army, it's our parliament, it's our army, and so we are in command of that by our elections. That's how we get to be in command of all of them. And so that word there is one of the most significant words in regards to who we are as a people of New Zealand. But to use this word non, it means a person, a non-entity means a person regarded as being of no importance or significance.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That's huge.
it's huge.
That's huge.
So you see, just this 5 minute, we get 5 minutes, and we get to use the 1688 in 3 sections, all right? And we also get to explain the meaning of general. So it's all going to be in there. So it's and it's going to be 5 minutes of speaking, and we're going to be able to get what we want done. So it's going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be at 11:10 tomorrow.
Right.
And so we're going to all touch base here, because you know that we all like to talk. So we'll all touch base at about 10:30.
Because you lot natter on so much.
I might be a little late to that, Kate. I probably will be at about 10 too.
No, that's fine, because it's just for nattering.
All right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's Phil.
Hi, Phil.
G'day.
Bye.
It's just for nattering. So and then after Then after we've done that trend, then we'll go and get checked in.
Remember to write your speech down tonight and get as much as you can into that 5 minutes.
Condensed, yeah.
Condensed.
Well,
As much as possible, because you want to get that general and non-entity thing. Them 2 points are huge.
I think what you've done already is spot on though. It's you give the definition, you're pulling apart the definition, and
Yeah,
so
she's got it
I'm
down.
and relating it back to your
definitions
1688.
first. I'll give
Mm.
the definitions first. All right. And then I'll say the forfeiture of person.
Yes.
And then I'll say how it affects the New Zealand Maori. And then I'll say
Ruling by
also,
division.
then I'll say how it affects the New Zealand Maori, and I'll once again reiterate it, how it affects us, because it does affect us as subjects.
Mm.
And it does affect us in many ways to be called a non-anything. Who wants to be called a non?
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
I'm not going to be called a non.
No, not after Diane explain what non means.
I think that they did that. Don't tell me that they didn't. Rawiri Waititi, I've got your picture somewhere. Rawiri Waititi, I believe that you know exactly what non-entity means.
Yeah.
That's what he made us. He made us a non-entity. And we all know that he's a very racist person against the lovely Anglo people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll be putting that up there.
Yeah.
And don't forget the ruling by division. There's also
Yes.
Oh, ruling by division.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. So we're going to do, I'll get my marker pen. Hang on. All right, so we're going to have, so we're going to have ruling by, we're going to have the
yeah, after you've
definitions.
after you've explained about the what the Maori and how it affects them and us, then you can bring in the ruling by division.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do the definitions one.
Definitions first.
Yeah, and then I'm going to bring in that is a forfeiture of, because the second, which definition shall I do first?
Start with general
Forfeiture.
I think I'll do the general definition
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yep.
and
And then non.
I'll do the non
Yeah.
second, and then I'll
Yep.
do that. That's a forfeiture of our person
Yes.
without conviction, which is illegal and void. So that's going to be 3. Then I'm going to bring in the Maori bit, and that's going to be 4.
4.
Then I'm going to bring in the ruling by division, and that is
Yeah.
going to be 5. And
5.
then I will, if there's any time left, just have a little bit more time, and one of you might even be allowed to speak to talk about how it would make you feel to be called a non,
Yeah.
thinking non.
No, let's make that whole 5 minutes work in your favor. Like, you want to stretch them 5 points out for 5 minutes. So you need to write down and say out loud tonight the meaning of general. Write down and say out loud the meanings of the word non, right? And see how much time it takes you to say them 2 things, and then almost have your speech down to the second, like have it ready.
You don't want to have it go over, and they cut you
No.
off.
They don't cut you off, and if they think that they just don't want you raving on about your mamby-pamby stuff, they only want to know what is the main point, what is the point of law that you want to use, and then
Yep.
that, because they've got hundreds of people to get through, but if
Yep.
they see that when you're expressing your point of law and it's relevant to the law, if you haven't finished, they will let you finish, but they only don't want you sitting there blubbering
Yeah.
Yeah.
about your miserable life.
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
No.
And so this one is just very refined. It doesn't take, I suppose that we should not talk about ourselves personally, but just keep it very broad. to the-
Generalize, yes.
New Zealand. Yeah. And so I think that will, you'd be surprised how long 5 minutes is. And
Yeah.
once, when something's written down, 5 minutes goes by in a minute.
Yeah. So look
So
for
you try and get
supplementaries.
emphasis.
Look for supplementaries to add. If
Yeah, I'm
you
thinking that I can have that, and then I can have another sheet of supplementary that
Yep.
if the time's not up, I could throw in the boot here and there.
yeah,
Put the boot in
yeah,
a bit
boot
more.
them while they're down a
Couldn't
wee
I?
bit.
Kate, as if you couldn't fill in 5 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. As if I couldn't.
You could sing them a song.
Oh God, don't be that. No,
Well,
no. Not there.
I
Don't put
could.
ideas in her head, Jody. You know what she's like. She's likely to break into song at the end.
I mean, I wonder if Wariri Waititi will actually come and we'll actually get to meet him.
I
And
think you should
remember I
have a
put
wee dig. I think you should have a wee dig at him at the end.
No, yeah, well, that's right. Well, yeah, because I've
Way
got
of
this-
digging at him.
He's not there. I've been to the
It
submission.
doesn't matter if he's not there. It'd just be good
That's
to
it.
have a wee dig at him.
Yeah, because
You know?
I was saying to him, Wariri,
What does he look like? Is he the ugly one? Oh, whoops, sorry.
Oops.
racist comments, Wariri.
Oh yeah, people can be ugly. People can be
Oh.
ugly. It's all right. You can say it. You can say that.
If you're in Parliament, you're ugly. End of story.
That's right.
No, I don't mean
Period.
that. I mean, is he the one that's got tattoos all over his face?
Yeah, but
Is he?
look.
Yeah, I think he is actually.
think it
Yeah, I
is.
think he is actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
He's got
Oh,
tattoos.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you see, he's got tattoos all over his face.
hey,
That's
look, this
yes.
was what you used to look like, Wariri.
He's so
This is
Call
what
him
he
a
used to
racist,
look
mate.
like. And then that's what he looks
That-
like now, see?
Yeah,
They've
call him
made
a
him look
racist.
slimmer. They've made him look slimmer. Oh, slimmer.
Yeah, but he's so racist, isn't he?
He's a racist motherfucker.
So look, but he's white because I did a video. I said, look, he's white. And now he's not white. Now you're
Yeah.
white. Now you're not white. So,
You
so I'll be
know,
able to hold it up. And I'll say, Rowie,
Yeah,
I'm a great
hold
fan
it
of
up.
yours. I'm a great fan. And I've
Yeah.
got your picture. I've got your picture here.
tattooing's
And,
actually toxic.
And I'll say, Rowie, I remember what you used to look like. You used to be white and now you're not. I say, Rowie, I say, look, here's the Maori and
And there's the non-Maori.
non. Here's the non.
You're on.
Maori,
It'd be
now you're a non.
interesting to find out if he drinks, because if
No, he
you've got
doesn't.
ta'amoko,
How do you
you're
know he
not
doesn't?
supposed to drink.
No, he's very deeply religious. Don't worry, I've
Yeah.
researched all these people extensively. And
Yes, I know
he's
you
very, very, very religious, extremely religious. And
Okay.
no, he
Which-
doesn't drink. No, he's a very good person.
Yeah.
Kate, what religion?
I don't think I need to be discussing those things. I'm just saying that
Okay.
he doesn't drink. He doesn't drink. I was just saying. So he doesn't drink. But I'm not sure exactly the religion, but I know he's very deeply religious. But I'm not sure which one it is. So I can't say, even though I would like to. But yeah, so yeah. So anyway, we're going to finish up this video now. I don't know how long it went. So that's the end of the video. So everybody knows what you've got to do now. You've got to
Yeah,
go
tell
to
them-
the parliamentary bills, and you need to find ways to make submissions using your 1688 Will and Mary, and take your power back. You know, be the God that you are. Be powerful. All right. Yes, Philip.
So I don't have time to do that. Because I was thinking of running for mayor, so I've only got about
Oh, we can't put
7
any plugs. I'm not put any plugs on my.
Blah, 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 blah.
No, don't put any plugs on my video. Oh my
Oh.
God. We're gonna finish up the video It's about going to the parliamentary, taking back power. We do not support any political parties or any common law groups or any. We're just a group of people that want to get our 1688 back and make all of Parliament, all political parties, everyone accountable. But we don't want to be. I've already told everyone before this meeting that we do not use the names of the parties or anything on this channel, because I don't think that we should do that. So work with Maori to get educated on this. The government is blindsiding. Yes, the government's blindsiding the Maori as well.
Yes.
So
And
they
the Maori are blindsiding each other too.
and the Anglo are blindsiding each other as well.
Everybody's
They're all,
blindsiding each other.
everyone's blindsiding each other, so we don't know who we can trust and anything. But anyway, if we just only go to Almighty God's law, we're mostly concerned about the future generations. We're not too concerned about ourselves. We're all right. We've all got houses and we've all got jobs and we've all got we all got food in our belly and we all not too bad. But I'm more concerned about what we're leaving for the children of New Zealand and the children of England, Scotland, Ireland and Australia. What are we leaving them? And I don't want to leave them with the mess that's coming up for them to have to live with. I don't think that our little Anglo people or even our Maori people or any of our people, any people living in our countries, anyone is going to be protected under what they're doing now with the United Nations and everything. So I'm very concerned about them.
Okay, can I just ask the question, not being trying to be whatever? So me being independent, nothing to do with any party for a start. That's number one.
I don't want
So
to talk about politics on here. I really don't, but I can close it. We can talk privately. So I'll just end that live stream and then I can end the video.
Just cut it out.